if I told you, it's so funny, it's so funny, it's not funny, but it's funny. What if I told you that the NASCAR playoff system impacted a driver's future, or not future, that sounds so extreme, impacted a driver's prospects of driving outside of NASCAR during the off season? That kind of just happened. So, so Connor Zilich, as you guys all know, just lost the Xfinity Series Championship. It's been a tough week for this kid. Just lost the Xfinity Series Championship to Jesse Love. Of course, Zilich had a historic season, 10 wins, 18 consecutive top fives, which is a series record. 20 top fives, 23 top tens. I think those are the numbers. And that's with missing a race, by the way. The guy just shredded the Xfinity Series field, but he lost the championship to Jesse Love on Saturday night. We talked about that race then. We talked about the format then. We've talked about the format. It's been a really, really exhausting weekend talking about this format. But that loss in the Xfinity Series Championship, not only did it hurt Connor Zilich because obviously he wanted to win the championship for himself and the number 88 team, it may have cost him, or it did indeed cost him, a test, not even a race, a test in a hypercar for the World Endurance Championship. Now, there has been some press for the award ceremony for NASCAR tonight, and Connor Zilich knew that this was the outcome. He said heading into the weekend, he knew if he won the Xfinity Series Championship, he was getting this drive. If he didn't, he knew he wasn't. So he knew it. I, for one, did not know it. Seems like a lot of other people did not know it. But here's this article from Daily Sports Car. They revealed this morning the outcome of Zilich losing the Xfinity Series race and the drive in Bahrain. It says that DSC understands that the Cadillac test was meant to be a reward for the 19-year-old, being Zilich, widely considered to be the most outstanding prospect in NASCAR, while also serving as a milestone in his brief but accomplished sports car racing career. But by missing out on the Xfinity Series title, DSC has been told that he does not have the required number of ACUS, however you pronounce that, which stands for Automobile Competition Committee for the United States, license points to test the hypercar, and has been scratched from the entry as a result. Look, I don't keep up with WEC. I'll just be brutally honest. I keep up with the 24 Hours of Le Mans. That's obviously their biggest race. I'll pay attention to that. Outside of that, I'm nowhere an expert on WEC. Could not tell you anything. I will say, though, I think this is an FIA thing, and FIA has some wonky standards for some of their stuff. I hope this isn't one of those cases, because ultimately, Zilich isn't some pushover. I get he's a young kid. He's only 19 years old, and it's the Xfinity Series, sure, but he has a Rolex watch. He has won the 24 Hours at Daytona. He's competed in it multiple times. So it's not like he lacks, experience in a sports car. It's not like he lacks those type of skills. Like, this guy has been killing it on the road courses in his career across the board and all different types of series, karting. And so that's one side of the issue, is the FIA and their licensing and their point system is, at least with certain aspects, once again, I do not pay attention to it. So maybe I'm completely in the wrong here. But for the license to get into F1, they don't count IndyCar that high, even though it's an open wheel car and it's professional. And, you got some really talented drivers in there who go and do things like the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Okay, let's get back to the main point at hand. Connor Zilich. As a result, he did not gain enough points. Connor Zilich said in an interview he needed 14 points. 10 points would have been gained from winning the Xfinity Series Championship. However, he finished second, and that only gained him 8 points. So he failed to get those 14 points. Fell short by 2. I don't know where he got those 4 otherwise. Maybe starting those cup races. Maybe Daytona earlier this year. But the point being, he did not get excused. And this is it's frustrating because NASCAR needs superstars. We need our drivers to go out and drive other things. We need Kyle Larson to attempt the Indianapolis 500. We need Connor Zilich, Shane Van Gisbergen, and, Kyle Larson's done it before. Jeff Gordon's done it before to do the 24 hours at Daytona. Jimmy Johnson to go over to Le Mans and, drive the NASCAR Garage 56 car. We need our drivers to go make a name for themselves outside of NASCAR, make themselves worldwide names. And sure, not everyone in the world is going to know who Connor Zilich is. Not everyone in the world is going to know to an extreme what Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson are or what they have accomplished in NASCAR. But when it comes to the U.S., we need a household name. If you go into the streets right now, you ask people, name some NASCAR drivers. You're going to hear a lot of Jeff Gordon. You're going to hear a lot of Jimmy Johnson. You're going to hear a lot of Dale Jr. You might get a Dale Sr. or a Tony Stewart in there. You might get lucky to get a current day driver. You might hear a Chase Elliott, the most popular driver. You might hear a Kyle Larson, maybe even a Bubba Wallace. But for the most part, you're not going to get a lot of names in the current NASCAR era. And that's what we need. We need superstars. We need them to have these opportunities to go drive a hypercar, to go drive in the Indianapolis 500, to do these things outside of NASCAR, to build up their name, to build up their own stock in a sense, so that they can go at the same time elevate NASCAR, make NASCAR look better, shine in a brighter light, if you want to say. So ultimately it sucks, but it looks like IMSA has different standards and Zilich might be racing in the 24 hours at Daytona again because they have different standards and he reached the eligibility for that or something. Or he's supposed to test to see if he can go into the 24-hour at Daytona. I don't know, man. The NASCAR playoffs, strike again. Impacting a driver, going outside the sport to elevate himself, to elevate the look of NASCAR. And it sucks. So outside of that, I don't know. Some exciting news. Speaking of drivers driving outside, sports cars, AJ Allmendinger is going to be joining Meyer Shank Racing for the 24-hour Daytona. So there we go. See, we got a guy in there. So that's a guy who can elevate his name himself. And AJ Allmendinger, as we all know, a great road racer, has a few wins in the Cup Series on the road. So yeah, and he's got a background in open wheel stuff and sports car stuff. So that's a really exciting thing, actually. That's a really exciting thing to see AJ Allmendinger. So outside of that, that's all I got today. It's the off season. We'll figure out what to do at some point, but yeah, it sucks. Connor Zilich ineligible because he lost the Xfinity Series championship.